What a way to lead us into Game 4. RNG on the verge of taking a 3-0, but one auto attack, one bit of the Nexus left. Held out, and LNG turned it right back around. This is Raz, I'm Mysterix, and Flandre, who got a pentakill, who played a great game, will get MVP. That was well-deserved, and boy, did LNG fight back.
I just didn't want to see another sad case of a man kneeling a pentakill. And not even a free pentakill, too. That man worked for it. He solo won the team fight for it. And then being able to get in, and still finding a loss. It was very close to that happening. But incredible game by Flandre. He got his Akali play. And there were two replays that really stood out. It was this one, the one that we were referring to. He was on the right side of the fight, dealing a lot of damage towards Karsa, follows him in, finds the pick on towards Ming, nails down his Shroud, so suddenly Uzi has to get away from it. And he was able to rejoin the fight. He was a main reason why they won this one. He put in a deep amount of work. And then Long Sing is like, all right, get over here. Bring it in.
Okay.
And then it was the final moment where you think that this game is over. RNG was able to nail down 3 main picks on towards Funfun, Asura, and Flandre. And you're looking to members, as I mentioned before the break, who could have landed that extra bit of a, hurt towards the turret. And you think a little bit more towards Long Sing, just a little bit before he ended up dying. And then at the very end, if they didn't actually go towards Flandre when he didn't have passive, and then just tried to put their full focus towards the Baron, or like the Nexus turrets than yourself, then they maybe would have done it. But back to the point that I made earlier, they shouldn't even have gotten to this stage. LNG, when they pick compositions like this, just need to send the Corki away from the team.
Agreed.
We should never be in a 10k gold lead and everyone is just grouping up against a team fight comp, especially around narrow corridors. So that happened consistently. SOFM got picked, Baron Buff got took. You just got a lot of weird situations where LNG was throwing a lead. So I think that they've learned now. They've actually, going into the next game, recognizing what to do with that comp. So they should go back to the same comp. They are actually just so good on these individual picks that it makes a lot of sense for them to go. Because Funfun had his best game in the series with it.
Yeah.
So I want to see it.
Flandre's Akali. I expect that to be banned or taken away because that is a threat. It's one that constantly, as you mentioned, LNG in the past, it has had to have that respect banned because he's just so damn good on it.
Yep. Just like all the time, if you're on blue side, you have to respect ban the Vladimir versus Nuguri and, of course, Flandre. You have to give that love towards the Akali as well. All these carry options that can 1v9 team fights take away because if the game gets to that state, then those are the issues. But before we go into the game, I want to be hearing from Ming and Coach Steak and what they have to say.
自己状态一般般吧，然后队友状态的话，应该还可以继续提升很大吧，然后自己状态的话也会慢慢调整好。
我们现在需要加强的就是队伍的中后期的处理吧，因为这一部分的话，我们现在可能还偏弱一点。
I mean, I think a lot of the ways they ended up losing those team fights, sure, the mid-game situations, but I think they were able to really slow down LNG's game because of how they dealt with mid-late game situations. In fact, I think they outplayed LNG pretty severely in that reason. So I would agree with that to a certain degree. And going into the next game where the slate is clean and LNG comes in with a greater focus, I want to see what we end up getting. The great adaptation from Coach Kenju.
If we get that adaptation, it's the start of the reverse sweep we've already seen. It's that momentum that LNG now have to take us to a Game 5. But you saw RNG, they're looking relaxed, they're looking better. It is resetting after the way that Game 3 ended.
Yeah, with so much adrenaline, the most important thing to think about is to actually get that game out of your system, out of your mind. Because the next game has no reason or kind of, basically nothing that will impact the next game for you. So that's the primary point that I would have for LNG, especially RNG. Something that's kind of aside, as a side point is, I'm just going to talk about Steak a little bit. His hair is growing. It's growing quite large now.
I noticed.
I remember he cut his hair and made it so it was just a very short one so he could fit the headset on without having the catastrophe happen. But now he's going right back to Afro mode. And I love Afro mode.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is this the largest the Afro's ever been for him?
No, it's certainly not. No.
Been
It's been
larger.
larger when he's a player.
When he's a player, right.
There's a reason why people know Stake so easily when he was on Flash Rolls and all that. His hair was wild.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that he's taken a step back, but I also want him to go back to that retro mode.
All right. Well,
Retro Stake, bring it back.
hairstyles aside. Going into this game 4, didn't get side selection, but I assume here for RNG that whatever side it may be, we look towards, as I mentioned before, the Akali ban.
It's game 4?
Yes.
So game 4 should be side selection towards lower seeded team, which is LNG. So they should be on red side actually.
Okay.
We'll see.
It's funny because in the split LNG, the favorite side was the blue side. They were a blue-sided team alongside BLG in the regular split. But we're moving into 9-15. We're moving into playoffs where a lot changes.
Yeah, I think currently we've seen it from the players as well. They've made statements that blue side right now is just objectively stronger. There are a lot of great picks to go through, but if you're on blue side, you can get priority on, Gragas or something, and then also have counter pick towards enemy bot lane. A lot of the times, enemy bot lane would look to pick up like Kai'Sa or Nautilus on their second run, and you can easily get a counter pick towards, like, let's say a Varus or an Ezreal or a Xayah Rakan, really. So a lot of times you get a good matchup. You get a good blind pick matchup mid too. There's not a great counter pick that a lot of the times red side is known for. And so that's just one of the main reasons that we've been seeing blue side be so successful as of late.
If we're talking about matchups here, what matchup do you think's dictated the series so far? Because if I looked at first glance and say, well, the bottom side's been very impactful in lane for RNG, but it's also been about like how the top lane dynamic can affect the rest of the map as well.
Yeah, I think it's a split between jungle and top lane. I think jungle is what our expectations were coming in, and we were rewarded a lot of situations where, there were triple buffs coming through, great adaptations to that, great ganks as well, and really smart. If we're talking about mind games, Karsa and SOFM has had really smart ways of dealing with counter games.
Yeah.
And so this series have really delivered for junglers. If we're talking about top laners, Longsing has really had an impactful one. Initially, if we're having my favorite matchup coming into this series would have been a Flandre versus Longsing historically. But, my expectation was Longsing wasn't going to have a good series. I was far from the truth with how well he's able to come in a lot of these team fights. So I would say top lane jungle because Longsing's coming in strong versus a Flandre who's popping out and having incredible team fight situations on his Akali.
Especially when the dynamic in that top lane has changed constantly, like each and every game. It's been different stylistic picks as well.
Yeah, the Riven was good. The
Yeah,
thing that win, it was more so like the dual AD carries that were performing in team fights poorly. The Camille was pretty damn sick too. But now you're going towards the Akali, which is a heavier dive threat. And it's so hard to just push off of you.
When we saw RNG on that blue side where the priority shifted once again, the bans changed in that game 3. Now, I know a lot of this is about the draft. A lot of this is about what changed in the pick and ban. But that game itself, I mean, all these games have been sick, but game 3 is going to leave a lasting impression on this series and on the rest of playoffs.
That's why when people talk about best of fives, they talk about how long of a series it is, how arduous it is. Like, basically, you come in and it just feels like it can take a toll. And one of the easiest things to forget is the reason why you ban something in game 1 and game 2, right? You start to adapt within the series and say, all right, game 3, the Akali slammed me. Get it out of here. And then what do you end up losing out for the ban? Well, maybe the Gragas comes back, right? That was a respect ban that had to come through. Or another one was the Sivir. The Sivir was pretty huge for RNG in the previous games, and it was banned respectfully in the last one, or in game 2. Maybe the Sivir comes back because they're starting to throw bans towards maybe the Rumble that you start to respect really early on in the season.
But where do we go for LNG, Raz? Do we take a step forward or a step back? I want to see this go the distance. I want to see what LNG have to offer going into game 4 because they've made it this far. So now, see if they can do the full mile.
Camille ban right from the get-go from RNG.
Right.
They don't want to see that anymore, but junglers being taken down. Maybe we're going to be seeing another first pick Jarvan. It's the one that's been now up and available for picks.
No Akali ban here yet. So Karma instead means the Jarvan, as you mentioned, is still available.
I like the Karma ban because it's dual focus. Now you have an easier mid lane to deal with, and at the same time, you don't have that protection for Uzi. So Uzi, if he's thinking about that Sivir that's up and available, pretty difficult when the Karma is not there. Let's see if their trigger fingers are there for the Lulu pick.
Maybe. They got the first pick Aatrox at the very least. So going back to the theme, and LNG look at this Akali and go, hell yeah, we can pick this up again.
Akali, Kai'Sa, lock it in with full confidence. LNG knows that they were doing so well because of that in team fights. They should easily go back to those 2 picks.
Remember that for Xiaohu as well, this is also a denial. Something I didn't mention in the last game just because Flandre is so damn good with it. But we get 2 games in a row with Flandre's Akali.
There's nothing that's going to push LNG to change their composition.
Yeah.
They had a considerable advantage last game. So, go towards a Rek'Sai. Or maybe Fen is feeling the Corki and wants to prioritize that much earlier. So, let's see what that pick is going to be. A change there with the Xayah locked in. Xayah was, of course, the same pick.
We got the Zyrakan last time around. We get the Jarvan once again. Why is there double smite in the mid lane?
That'll be changed. Unless if it is a Jizuke Karthus.
Ah, yes. That's what you want to see.
That pick could have worked out
Yeah.
until the level 1 happened.
Till the triple kill Caitlyn happened, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was something.
that was nice.
All right, we'll keep track of that summoner. It's always a little bit bait and switchy, but okay. SOFM moves over to the Sejuani for game 4.
It'll allow now for the Renekton to be a pretty powerful one. So I imagine the Akali and Sejuani to already be a pretty strong duo. But if you're thinking about top lane picks, maybe it's going to be a Renekton mid that Fen can field for himself. Maybe it's a Renekton top lane. Fen can pick up the Akali. Let's see what it's going to be in the second phase, because LNG is saying no more Corki.
No more Corki,
We made use of it in the last one. Now we just want a brawl.
Corki banned. Then RNG, what direction do they take? Because a couple of supports still open, but it's the Aurelia they're scared of here if Fen gets his hands on.
RNG have already locked themselves a pretty good composition for a Rumble. So Rumble with Smite is just fine. It works out very well. Pretty easy to farm up enemy or your Raptors, I suppose. And you also have the Cataclysm that worked well in the last comp to just use your ultimate for. So RNG is surely going towards the safe Rumble pickup. It's going to be LNG that'll respond to it.
Z-Band, this time away from it by LNG. Means that Rakan that RNG paired last time is still with them. But final ban here for RNG. What do you do? Raz, Kiana's there. Okay. Fen's played that many a time.
Let's see, is the Nautilus still up and available? Yes, it is. I would personally go towards the Nautilus. You have a great amount of CC alongside the Sejuani. You could set up for the Sejuani pretty well.
Yeah.
Alistar is also respectable. At the end of the day, you just need a way to start the fights. And it just comes down to the confidence in what Dwan wants to play. Because while I would go Nautilus, he is an established Alistar player. And sometimes comfort is what you go towards.
Also an established volley bear, apparently.
All right. We got ourselves a volley. There's one thing that I don't like. It's a blind volley.
Yeah.
But I like the concept. Now we're thinking about LNG kind of focusing towards the bot side of the map to get lane advantages. It's a pretty short-ranged AD carry. That's the purpose behind it, to be able to get straight towards him. And also you can impact the flag and drag with your roar.
I was going to say, then do you just see Ming's Morgana again? There it is, locked in. Denies the flip, of course. So, strong bottom side here for RNG in game 4.
Man, we need another pick to get a glacial going.
Okay.
Yeah. What would that be? Braum top?
Ash mid.
Yes.
Ash mid. No bed. Okay.
Ah, Zoe.
Now, a very rare occurrence to see Xiaohu Zoe. Something is up. This is serious.
He is a fantastic Zoe player.
That he is.
He's a really good Zoe player. But remember, you're picking this one blind. A lot of confidence when you know you have a J4 by your side. And so, here we go. We're going back towards the Tristana mid here now for Fen.
Okay, Fen hasn't won on it in this series yet. So this is a confident move when your tournament life, when your 2019 LPL life hangs in the balance. LNG decide they're going to return to Tristana again.
All right. I love to see this from LNG. The Volibear is going to be a tough one, knowing that you have the Morgana shield looking to just block you with that Matumbo finger wag. I want to see if LNG is going to be there to be able to get that punch first. Dwan is a consistent roamer. He's the one who wants to at least find any window possible. In the last games we've seen from him, he's been matched by Ming pretty consistently.
Yeah.
So Ming has always been there to block him. I wonder if he finds that one opportunity to get his team a lead.
Because in that lane, we've already seen what Ming can do with the Morgana. This is a potent pick. One that I know he's confident with, and coaches talking to each other again. I love this.
Yeah.
They're in high spirits, and we'll see. We'll see what the spirits are like if this goes the distance, because we're set up again with an LNG composition that includes that on your screen, the Akali back on Flandre after he just got a pentakill in that game.
It's back in action. Sometimes, you know, you just want to test the waters. RNG is saying we have 1 game buffer. Let's see if he can do it again. I don't like the challenge, but you know what? With the composition they've built for themselves, I think it's a pretty damn good one. It's a great pick composition. You can work around Xiaohu's Sleepy Trouble Bubble. And then at the same time, if you get him, flag drag, Ming locks them down with a binding themselves. Let's see if RNG can get it rolling.
The 1 game buffer period. I like that. Because for RNG, still a match point. LNG are the ones who have to force this reverse sweep. We're going into game 4 after what was a crazy game 3. It has been a nutty series so far.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎。
Raz, we're back. I'm not sure I recovered from the last game, but here we are.
We're not getting the LGD chance as much these
No,
days.
it's a little bit serious after.
Rest in peace. Happens. You know?
Yeah.
I blame
For
VG.
whatever game it is.
It's yeah, what is it? You know? You tell me. League of Legends 2. Anyways.
Great. Tell me.
Let's take a look at these.
Tell me a
A
story.
lot of inspiration tree in secondary just provides you so much with biscuits. So that's the expectation. Let's see if there are any stopwatches in tow. Make it so it's pretty early. No stopwatch. 2 stopwatches. There we go. We got them. 2 stopwatches on the side of RNG. Ooh, a lot of damage being taken now by
Yeah.
Xiaohu.
I want to point out that Fen, I didn't get a close look at the secondary there, Raz, but in game number 2, he picked up Demolish, so he had the Resolve tree as the secondary Tristana. Looks like we saw a little bit there in the mid lane trade as well. That binding lands on the tippy toe of Asura.
I almost forgot what it was like to watch Ming play Morgana. Thanks for the reminder.
It was a long game 3, I don't blame you. The fact that we're seeing this again, I mean, this is what pushed them towards that victory in both games, I'd say, is Dwan. Gonna get the flip here, but look at this, the bottom lane from RNG really just pushing LNG back.
Well, damn. You know, we're back at it. Always watch out for Morgana. She's in a really good range to get a binding on Nasura. Able to get a free down damage. If you can get the passive off of the Volibear, that's a nice blessing.
But they hit level 2 so early. There's no Black Shield onto Uzi. There's going to be second skin stack with the Ignite. They pick their window and they pick it fast.
And that's why you pick yourself a Volibear. You just run at them. Short-range AD carry. Uzi realized he was dead there, didn't want to burn his own flash for it. Let's find out what happened there. Let's do some investigation.
A pause.
Who is calling the referee? Let's find out.
Okay. Well,
Send the cameraman in.
while we discover the cause of this pause,
Who's the culprit?
gives us a quick breakdown of an exciting first blood. LNG off with a bang here in game 4, Raz.
I think Uzi just wants to check on his wounds. You know, that happened way too quickly.
We just
That's why if you're, you know, taking a vacation over to Vancouver, don't go hiking alone. We got wild grizzlies.
okay. Is this like a me thing? Where does this go? I
I don't
don't
know
get
if you're going to. Are you going to Vancouver soon?
No, I'm not.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, great.
There are a lot of animals in Australia, so I guess that's an equal point to make if you're going into the Australian wilderness.
Yeah, but people complain about the
Called
spiders
Sydney CBD.
and the snakes. Yeah, they're a lot worse there. Well, Raz.
They're called drivers too. They can open you up. You got wild drivers out there.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
They basically act like bears.
People are just angry driving in Sydney.
Yeah.
They're just so angry.
Well,
I don't
I mean,
understand.
I've seen the streets. The streets are awful. And I'm not talking about the driver. I'm talking about literally how the streets were built.
Oh, yeah. You know what I say when people ask me, how, what is Sydney like to
Yeah.
drive in? I'm like, someone sneezed in a handkerchief
Yeah.
and then said, here, do that. And that's literally how they built Sydney roads.
I was told,
It's a
and it
mess.
could be a lie for any Australian out there, please set me straight if that's the case, that it was built for, horse riding, really way back in the day,
Oh, really?
and a lot of the systems were pretty much kept. This one is Uzi just getting slammed, so I don't know what else to say about this one.
Yep. Horses in the back. Right. Well, level 2 quickly hit there by the bottom lane of
Just in
LNG.
case you missed it.
We did not. So, no answer as of yet.
I'm cool with that. I'm all right with the mystery.
Yeah.
This is what great movies and shows are built off of. You figure it out.
Okay.
They're trying to hide it from us.
Name a good movie that's built off the mystery, where we have to figure it out.
Where we have to figure it
Yeah.
out?
Go, give me an example.
Well,
right
I'm
now.
going to say a game. I was about to say Last of Us. That's the wrong genre. It's still pretty scary, I suppose.
Yeah, but is that the mystery? You kind of know what's going on the whole. Oh, not all. No, you don't. Okay, I'll take that one.
It's that I can't remember the name, so it's up to you guys now to figure out what I'm trying to think of. Which is when you're on that mountain alone and there's some beasts trying to kill you, find out there's multiple beasts trying to kill you with your ridiculous hedonistic friends.
Mm,
Anyways, I'm just going to throw that out there.
okay.
Just it's up to you guys. I'm watching the chat, so if you can give me an answer, then I'm very grateful.
Absolutely no clue. I saw Inception. I'm down with that. That's
It's a
a
game,
mystery.
by the
That's
way.
great.
Inception.
Inception movie.
It's not where.
But that is the mystery. That is a whole. What do you mean?
All right. Well,
That
cool.
is the
Until
movie.
Dawn. Who got it? Kex301. Thank you very much. Until Dawn is what I was thinking. about.
Okay. Yeah.
That is far more legitimate than what you were saying with
Okay.
Inception.
I get your point. I've just been told what we're waiting for. Lung Xing has reported
Yep.
an in-game issue. So until that's resolved and checked by the referees, we are here in limbo.
Did you say Long Xing?
Lung Xing.
Oh.
So it was not Uzi or Ming. Wasn't the bottom lane at all.
I only heard RNG, but that's crazy. What happened up top side? Or is he pausing for them? At the end of the day, we all saw what
Speculation.
happened.
You're dangerous, right?
We all
You're
saw what
dangerous.
happened, okay?
Mm.
Which was a bear mauling, a certain person choosing not to flash,
Yep.
and maybe it's dependent around that.
Said
Yeah.
Lung Xing, you do it.
What?
You do it. No.
I mean, I'm not too tight on whoever was doing it, but at the end of the day, someone just got an issue in-game.
Yep. Okay. Well, a couple of consequences here.
What's the consequence?
For First Blood,
Oh, yeah, it's a big consequence.
yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I'm bringing
That
this
just
back to the game.
justifies the
Did you,
Volibear
just
pick.
before we go
What's
back to
up?
game, did
Okay,
you
what's
tell
up?
me about that Life movie or whatever? What was the point back then? I know that's really out of context, but I'm so
Oh,
curious.
yeah, actually.
You tell me about the Eddie Murphy movie.
So basically, there was a big bait, right? The
Mm.
bait in game was the fact that I think Ming went for the kill after what was, a great opportunity to get the kill on towards the Akali.
Right.
So, of course, great opportunity, went for it, died for it. Great. Spoiler alert, I suppose, but it was like the first 10 minutes of the movie, which is, waiter comes in, steals a man money. He's like, all right, I'm going to get you. Goes over, gets caught in some scandal, thrown into prison for life.
Ah. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie. You should watch it. That part of the movie is actually just, all right. It was okay.
Okay.
It was just funny. It was a very comical part of it because he was on a mad chase to get his money back.
Ah, right. Okay.
And then he gets thrown into life in prison. Don't you just love that when it happens?
yeah, when it happens, so
Yeah.
relatable.
It's great.
I'll
It's
go.
good stuff.
I'll go and watch it because you kind of had to be there, right? You had to be there.
You had to be there
You
back
had
in the days,
Now, I'm going to inform everyone because I know you're going to be saying things, but here in Shanghai, it is very hot tonight.
Yep.
I think it's about 30, 31 degrees. The reason Uzi has tissues over his ears is because it's hot. It's super hot. I'm sweating right now. And that's with the air conditioning on, which Raz will not let me.
It's on
You won't let me put it down below 23.
because it's bloody cold.
I want 21. 20 is decent.
Yeah, you just want to make this a freezer.
But
let's
it's
be
like
honest.
35 degrees in this country, and it's so humid.
Okay, first of all, it doesn't actually matter how hot it is outside if you make the entire studio, a closed space, a bloody freezer. Do you
But-
want meat packed in here? We have enough bodies here.
But you know
But
what
then you're trying to
you know,
compare that to Uzi,
But
where
I-
the AC isn't good.
the AC there is
It's not
bad.
good.
In Hongqiao?
Yes.
Is it? You were there with
Yes.
with Cesaro and Xavier Woods.
I was literally there a couple days ago.
And what did you think?
I was hot.
Okay. But when you say you were hot, like the hot, normal hot, or your hot?
Are you trying to say my hot is different from your hot?
Your hot is not normal hot. You feel cold at like 22 degrees. That's ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
nice.
That's all right.
And you're from Canada.
You trying to do something? Are you trying to
Canada's
say I'm less
cold.
Canadian than other Canadians?
No, I'm saying Canada's
I'm
cold.
trying really hard to feel offended right now. I'm making the attempt.
Look, my point is, it is hot in that stadium, and that's justified. I mean, here sometimes I'm in office, and sometimes I'm playing league. I put a tissue over the mouse because you sweat. You sweat a lot.
You're trying. Okay, so just for anybody out there, I'm just gonna put this to a stop because he is the only human being to feel hot no matter what.
Right.
Any situation I'm in a room with you, it's a normal temperature. It can be winter for all I care. And you're starting to sweat. And you're just saying you're hot. And I looked at anybody else, they're like, what are you talking about? It's freaking freezing in here. And then you try to make it normalized.
No.
You calm down. You need help.
It's not.
It's on you.
It's
And
not my
I'm
fault.
glad that we had this opportunity to set things straight.
Yeah, it was like my own little therapy session as we get back into game 4. Now, the issue has been resolved. As far as I know, there was nothing that warranted anything, I would say, as we go back in.
Oh, but is he about to get this kill?
Now,
though?
Juan still has Chosen of the Storm, so the passive should be able to give him healing. As Xiao comes on down, he's going to get flipped. SOFM's here as well. Troll Bubble lands. RNG have walked into the meat grinder as here comes the Permafrost onto the Zoe. Kai'Sa going to be blocked away by Ming as Uzi comes back in, and Fen's joining the chase.
Are we all just in on the party?
We are. There's a flash from Ming. The binding doesn't connect. It swings past Fen as Uzi is trying to get the mid laner. RNG bring 4 members down, and now the health bar's in favor of them as the flag drag onto Fen. They're going to get the kill, the trade. It's now 1-for-1 on the scoreboard, and RNG come out of the pause into the furnace.
A pretty damn good response, seeing as you have about 8 people in the bottom lane. But Karsa, watch out now.
He does have flag and drag available, so this is an easy escape. But SOFM, this time there's going to be no fight over the Scuttle Crab. It's going to be his.
Yeah, you know, get your advantage and walk away from the situation. It's pretty nice seeing as you lost First Blood, but you're able to find a great fight. Also just shared gold amongst other members here. So good stuff coming out of them. Kill gold going over to J4 at the very end of it.
Look across the board, and after that fight, I see about 1, 2, 3. 3 flashes burnt down in that bottom lane for RNG, and 2 for LNG. So after that hefty trade, kind of back to watching SOFM. He's deep in enemy
yes.
jungle.
The good old gank bottom lane technique.
Zoe has no flash. There's the rocket jump immediately. Xiaohu's going to take the satchel charge. Here comes the volley bear as well. Over the top. LNG pick up another. That was a great gank.
You may see some great adaptations between both of these teams throughout the series, but one thing that's remained true throughout, 3-man gank mid towards Xiaohu. He must hate this team.
Yes, getting bullied a lot. So Ming isn't able to roam up in time, heads back to lane after Tuan does the same. Now Lungxing in the top lane, doesn't get the Infernal Chains, but Flandre getting bullied up here.
Yeah, still able to get the electrocute damage there, so good on Longxing.
Oh, wow.
May even be better. Wow.
Flash from Flandre.
Definitely needed to flash there. I didn't think he would get the sweet spot on Q2. That's just this crazy range.
Lungxing is really advanced in this series. I mean, from game 1 to game 4, better in team fighting, and over Flandre, this is a great start to his lane.
He is a great player, and I want people to remember that. A lot of the problems that end up happening is mostly in decision-making and team play. That's something that we can never get an answer on, depending on what they're telling each other. But when you see moments like these, you're damn happy. So good stuff coming in from Longxing, sending Flandre right back. So teleport advantage now there for Longxing.
Has a shove in lane as well, and there's nowhere near for the jungle presence right now. Look at where SOFM is, heading towards the bottom side where it's an Infernal Dragon, so of course you want to add pressure to this lane.
So you see it on the side of the screen, just a fan contribution coming in from Billy, just saying, you know, Jiayo to Long Sing. So someone out there just said, hey, I'm sending you love. That's just the fun stuff that you end up seeing in the Chinese side of the broadcast.
Right. Good
That
for
was good
context.
stuff in the top lane.
Yep.
They should just send in messages, you know, just like actual words of encouragement.
Well, hang on. There's a Black Shield interaction we're talking about. Dwan unable to get the Rolling Thunder as SOFM spotted out on this ward. Look at that. Fen was even making the roam. This feels like a FPX light.
I didn't know that he would lose Aftershock, even with the Black Shield coming through, but that was the case there. Karsa may find a good opportunity topside. Flandre, watch out.
I mean, he has ult available. He's going to have to use it to escape. This slowdown from Karsa. Flandre, perfect execution. The second channel's still there. Karsa forces it out of him.
Messing around there.
Yeah, it's the old Lee Sin mechanic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
See what's happening here. Dwan's really low, by the way.
Fen's not here yet. Heal burn.
Yeah, you needed that movement speed. Dwan was playing around a little bit too much, and that was a great Sleepy Trouble Bubble used as a trap. So one of the many things that people dislike about Zoe is the fact that her Sleepy Trouble Bubble is just kind of used as a trap if it ends up missing.
Good to see Xiaohu matching the roams here because Fen gets such an easy shove and then makes his way to threaten the bottom lane. Because LNG have been controlling vision in this river for a very long time now.
You finally get to see Uzi and Ming just do what they've been doing in the first two games. Having a lot of pressure in the bot side of the map. The CS advantage is there, even with the loss of first blood. Control is certainly there, and maybe even looking for a dive. Zoe is ready for this.
Going to be spotted out as well, so an inkling here for LNG. Their bottom lane are trying to leave, but Karsa's not going to let them. Cataclysm immediately. Flag and Drag still available. He gets flipped around. Karsa with the Black Shield as well. Can't reach Dwan. They're out of there. Summoner's burnt, but RNG are committing for the turret and plating.
There we go. You got a lot out of that one. Double flash, turret plating. Maybe you can get the second one too. I want to see if that's going to be the case, but that is a lot for that dive.
And Karsa still has flash available, so he can repeat, and Cataclysm's not that long of a cooldown. So Asura and Dwan, this is only the beginning.
Yeah, 160 gold on turret plating going solely towards Uzi. And of course, 160 dispersed both to Uzi and Ming. So that's a lot of gold that they were able to have early on. For Ming, that can be turned into just outright control wards. I want to see if Dwan's looking for something.
I mean, there's the Dark Binding. You're going to see yourself from Dwan as he looks for the flip, finds it onto Ming, but the root comes back in. Ignite down, and Ultimate swings and misses. Uzi walks forward anyway, ults onto Dwan, but the Chosen of the Storm saves him as Uzi now has to get out, but in comes Karsa again. The Blade Caller gives Uzi his kill, and Dwan survived, but Xiaohu looking for the kill.
Okay.
Hello, Lungxin got here somehow, dunks Asura. 5 people of RNG in the bottom side, and they're just playing their characteristic style.
LNG, we're not on the same page on that one. Sejuani goes in, even if it didn't nail anyone, the follow-up just didn't exist. Asura wasn't going to be finding that one with how low he was. Flashless too. So it's just a great coordination play coming in from RNG. 9 minutes into the game, they get that bottom lane turret.
And all the plating that goes with it. Curious to see how much Uzi got, but you know it's going to be a ton. 20 CS lead in the bottom lane, and although mid is winning out, although top has the same discrepancy, for LNG, they've lost a lot earlier on. Makes sense that they want to prioritize the Infernal Dragon.
You know how funny this would be? If you made all that work to get that bottom lane turret, LNG gets Infernal, and the next one is an Infernal, and suddenly LNG's investment paid off. Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God. I just don't like seeing that.
Yeah. We'll have a look again because Asura and Dwan thought they had to engage.
So who's the follow-up? Asura? Think how low he is. He's incredibly low. Uzi is so confident here. He can try and get the assassination onto Dwan and still find a way out because it's SOFM alone in this case. And yeah, I didn't see him either. Longxing ends up finding his way here through a teleport of his own and just dunks Asura.
I think it was either Karsa or Ming that put that deep ward, so it was kind of the foresight for the play here for RNG. And speaking of foresight, it's now onto the Rift Herald. It's now the transition of lanes to secure this objective, with turret plating still up for another 3 minutes 30.
This is one of those slow-rolling boulders. You can see it coming, but you just can't stop it. RNG is able to accrue so much gold. LNG has to give away top lane turret. And with how early it is in the game, not only is it going to be turret plating and the turret itself, but then they can start setting up for mid lane turret plating as well. We are cashing out right now if you're RNG.
On the one member that always cashes out. Uzi is set up to succeed in this game. Now, while Asura is able to pick up some turret plating of his own,
It's just sad.
Lungxing's coming down, Xiaohu here to support, and that means that SOFM won't be able to find the counter gank.
Yeah, that's what you're trading it for. Let's see, they can stick around pretty easily to get this turret down because it's just Flandre who's here looking to stop them.
They're
Heavy
sticking.
pings coming through right now.
I mean, it's the Volley Bear who's very angry.
You got to be really pissed off if you're LNG. You want to find a play that can bring you back into this one, but there we go. At least they stopped this top lane turret going down on that wave.
4 bits of plating for it as well, all over to Uzi and Ming. That's going to be an Essence Reaver as his next back, but he's staying in lane for a little bit longer, still growing that CS lead, still building up towards 100 CS at 12 minutes.
I think what we need to be seeing from LNG, you're seeing it right now. Tristan is leaning towards the top side. Sejuani is certainly going to be going towards the top side. Anything to look to stop RNG from picking up the turret. If they go for it, they can get an easy team fight off the back of it. So RNG recognizes that to be the game state. They end up basing themselves. Essence Reaper already being picked up by Uzi. So as he readjusts his tissue-filled
Tissue, gotta
headphones.
get that, you know. Get some of the sweat out.
They're going to go up top side pretty easily. RNG should just group on it.
It's a carry game, so you're going to make sure you're set up to succeed here for Uzi. Carson nearby now.
That's why you got to stuff more tissues. So much tissues that you can't hear your own
You can't
teammates.
hear, you don't need to hear Team Lungxing. Might be caught out here, though. SOFM has the ulti world, and going to be popped then. Whoops. There's a name that comes to mind from North America. I know people will be shouting, but SOFM just trying to find the mark.
I mean, what are you going to say about that?
I don't need to say anything. I've done enough.
Well, what am I going to say?
You talk about the turret though, Raz. I'll bring you back to reality because RNG have broken down 2 outer turrets before 14 minutes. That is just so much gold over to this Xayah, I should say. And speaking of the Kai'Sa, Asura and Dwan just trying to break down one themselves.
At least they're now fully committing to it, but the full map control there now for RNG. Oh, fun, please. Let's see if he can
Now he
get
has
out.
rocket jump. That's a good ult to push Kai'Sa into the turret. Flash burnt here, so maybe he didn't. And Kai'Sa just going to walk away. Now mid lane turret on the menu for RNG.
The problem with rocket jump is a lot of these abilities can cancel it out, and the animation for rocket jump is pretty apparent if you're looking for it.
True.
So I think they were just looking to cancel out FunFun's rocket jump if it was available. And now, down goes your turret platings mid.
They've already gotten 10 bits of turret plating. RNG make that 11.
Get them all. You have about 20 seconds left. Yeah, they're not going to get them all, but get as much as you can.
If only there was a second Rift Herald at this point. Well, RNG, their gold almost towards that 2K mark here at just about 14 minutes. First item already picked up for Uzi, as we mentioned. Almost towards the Luden's Echo here for Xiaohu. And Hexdrinker being utilized first by Lungxing, who has had an okay time in the solo lane. But having said that, he is down almost 30 CS to Flandre. So Flandre, although almost being bullied early, he's set up to succeed once again.
Yeah, so LNG right now are not completely out of it. If we're just talking about how the team fight's looking, it's still pretty damn good. Nice ultimate from Uzi, but SOFM forcing it out of him. Yeah, we're in Gold City. 1,700 gold.
LNG got a bit as well, actually.
That is true. They were trading mostly. That was what it was for. Good trades at the end of the day, but a lot of it is now just Uzi ultra accelerated in his build. But you're right, back to your point about the Akali. Akali can really change how these fights go, because if we all come down to who's getting the bulk of the gold, Uzi still needs time before he's confident in fights. That was close. That would have done max damage, by the way.
It would have, but remember that Xiaohu still doesn't have his first item, and this Zoe has sacrificed a lot to make sure that Uzi succeeds. Down in CS in the mid lane as well, going up against the Blade of the Ruined King Tristana. RNG still willing to push this lane, but it looks like we're skirmishing around the dragon that's been sitting there for a while.
Yeah, they don't want LNG to get both of these dragons so they can be dragon stacking and force these major team fights later on. Let's see what the next dragon is, because I do talk about rolling the dice. And if you end up taking down Cloud Dragon and then putting up an equally and powerful dragon, no, it's going to be double Cloud.
Yep.
That's completely fine then, so it's far more useful for RNG now. Especially with the pick composition that they have. So, it's nice to have. But this siege is going to be contested here by LNG.
Flandre in for the flank. Level 11 Akali has a window in, but gets locked down with the binding again by Ming. He ults immediately. Flandre out with the shuriken flip. And he's out of the fight completely. Perfect execution used, while meanwhile LNG happy to trade because Fun is pushing the side lane.
Really good pick by RNG. Now you put another timer on Flandre where he can't really be useful. So you're losing this turret 100%.
It's true. So maybe not worth it, as Fen will be able to push in the wave. RNG finally break all outer turrets before 20 minutes in the game.
That's why we talk about execution being so crucial. If he didn't get caught out, if that opening was there, he would have been able to secure a winning fight for his team, or at least a lot of flashes from RNG. But because they were able to catch him, push him out to the side, free turret now there for RNG. RNG gets a whole stack of gold on their primary carries. Luden's Echo should be there for Xiaohu after this wave, I would assume.
Yep.
So right now we're banking it for RNG, but LNG is certainly banking on fights. If they can get that crucial team fight that we saw in the previous game, that will give them that lead.
The difference this game, though, I'll say, is Ming goes from Rakan to Morgana. And there is a difference in champion. And Ming's Morgana, again, just so crucial in game 1 and 2.
He should have got MVP in both of those games.
Yes, we're still upset.
We're still mad.
It's been 2 hours.
You can't shut us up.
It was great. I mean, it won game 2, Raz. It was directly the winner.
I can understand game 2 because of Azrael, but no.
But
Should've been
game
him.
1. Game 1, the blind binding.
Yes, game 1.
The
for sure.
BB, you know?
Yeah.
He said goodbye.
We're sending in our complaints.
Well, we'll have to wait. We'll have to see if LNG could take us the distance or if this will be it. Because it looks like one final stand is what this game could come down to. But at this point for RNG, the snowball, as you mentioned, what did you say? Boulder was rolling.
Yep. It's still kind of rolling. If we're just taking take a look at the map, both teams are just trying to strive for items. Uzi's going towards his Infinity Edge where he feels comfortable. Remember, you still have that attack speed with your lethal tempo, so you're in a pretty good spot in team fight. So I see that being his primary goal. He doesn't want to start a fight until he gets that item. If you look towards LNG, you're saying the same thing for the Kai'Sa, who wants to get the Muramana Guinsoo's Rage Blade.
Yep.
So that's why there's always been a discussion about a lull state, but it's not as if teams are just walking around having not a goal in mind. It's mostly because their goal is simply farming and being patient to that point. It's something that LNG's honestly had to learn, being on the same page and just simply being patient. And we're currently starting to see that.
A team that has the longest game time in the LPL. So you can see their evolution here in the summer split. A team that, remember that Snake, what did they finish 13th in spring, if I'm not mistaken? And back when they were called Snake.
Look, if you're below 12, you're out of my mind.
Oh, okay. Elitist.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, if you're just one series away, you might as well just be 15th.
Oh my God, Raz.
I'm just saying, all right?
Okay, all
I'm
right.
just putting that out there.
So
The
you're not
difference is literally one series.
You're not like me thinking, oh, hang on, pause that. That's a good pick. Cataclysm onto 4. LNG being caught out as Fen has to jump away. Uzi now comes back with an Infinity Edge. This is a big RNG, but Flandre tries to shut him down. He's into the Shroud. Uzi pulls it back. Will he survive? The flash away from Flandre on an edge. A nice edge. As Vlad, look at this, the volley bear. 1v1 me caster. The Ignite doesn't tick away. He flips him for the kill. But now Xiaohu is angry. Yeah, he's going to get the trade. A messy fight that should have held so many more deaths.
But there was just such a primary focus in the mid lane that you forgot that Karsa went hiking. And the bear found him, and that's all you really need. That's all that you really need. You just need that little bit of time. And of course, that kill ends up going over to Dwan. That's pretty crazy, and a lot of it was towards Flandre, who is so close to being able to net the kill and still finds a way out. Take a look at this, a great Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Even finding the flash of Asuri, he needed to ult out of the damn Cataclysm itself. So they were able to flash out completely, and then you get to see the primary focus. Uzi needs to deal with the Akali trying to rub it face, and then you see Karsa forgetting that Dwan is a beast. You can't touch this. Get back here.
Yeah! And then Xiao one-shots him, because you remember, that is a support volley bear.
Don't fight the bear. I don't care what role he is. His class is class.
Well said, Barento Raz Muhammad. Well, A 1-for-1 trade. And you know what? I'd take that if you're LNG, because the way that fight started, like I said, it should have been so much worse. Uzi came into that fight with an Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver completed. So this man's online, and you can see the damage output. Enough for Flandre to warrant jumping on him at all costs.
Yeah, next time that bear's coming in with a steel chair, I just need to see him just go straight towards, like, what's a good item? Righteous Glory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Righteous Glory. Shirelles is fine as well, by the way.
No, it's not,
yes,
but I'll approve it.
It buffs the ultimate damage.
Please, no.
That and Dead Man's Plate.
Just get those claws out.
Okay. Infinity Edge. Oh, yeah. Have you ever played top lane Volibear?
No, never.
Well,
Never going to.
it's a mistake. Top lane Volibear, I think it's like 49%. And look at this one. Almost finds a flip around. RNG going aggressive into the enemy jungle of LNG. Now, Fen even jumps away. This is the setup around Baron, while Flandre and Longxing going to fight in the bottom lane.
I want to see, of course, thankfully, Longxing was able to... Wait a minute!
No, we
go
gotta
back
go
to the bottom
backwards.
lane!
He will get the turret. Flandre goes in for the win.
I'm sorry that I even questioned this observer.
Ooh, hang on, no, not anymore. This is going to be Xiaohu getting locked down there with the Glacial Prison, as Xiaohu will also find himself the Trouble Bubble. The re-engaged one doesn't have the passive, so he dies. Xiaohu finds him, and Uzi now runs up for another kill.
This is the RNG composition online. Morgana, Q, Sleepy Trouble Bubble, anything they can go in on. So I want to see what LNG can do as a response, because while RNG needs to base, these are getting progressively longer death timers now.
Longxing's walking up to the mid lane as well. LNG's target, push in that mid wave and get that turret. Finally, they have the inside track, and RNG are pathing very strangely. Uzi actually gets the root down on the Fen, he cleanses away to survive. Never mind, it was another ultimate bait.
That's the difficulty of Tristana. You know, people say you have a dash, you can go in a little bit further, but everybody that has the skill to deal with your dash will deal with it. So good luck on that one.
Yeah.
He will have Flash soon enough. He'll have, he doesn't have Cleanse because he just had to use it, but Flash is really good enough for the next fight.
You can just see Uzi and Ming running as the pair. Right now, the biggest threat on Summoner's Rift, and utilizing it well, heading back towards his top side. And this jungle, this is where they want to find their pickers. SOFM's here once again. They find the knock-up. Look at Casa waiting for the flag and drag, but they'll just take the red buff. That's a good sentiment.
But yeah, now Daddy Ming is here. Let's get another Q across. Let's pick some people out. That's what I'm looking for. All you need is the Zoe and the Morgana to make you happy.
It's not like RNG have to be anywhere else. The bottom wave's pushing in as SOFM has to run away again with the Arctic Assault. Bottom wave, further to my point, that's a slow push for RNG at the time being. So they just go mid. This is going to be a big shove.
The wave clear isn't there for LNG. It's in their 80 carries that are pretty low in range and are risking their life. Okay, well, we're going back.
I love that trouble bubble from Xiao. He puts it behind. SOFM can't go backwards. Almost dies anyway.
Now the jungler's out of the map. He's going to take a bit of time to come right on. Now they're not going to be starting Bearmuff immediately, but they did set up a lot of time for Uzi to get towards his next item. So I want to see if it's going to be wow, just like that. Okay, so I can't even make the guess yet.
Yeah, okay.
I was trying. I mean, we all knew it was going to be rapid fire cannon, but he just came out and bought it first buy.
Big Uzi once again. We've seen some pretty good games from Uzi. I know there wasn't too much questions about this 80 carry coming into the matchup, but you always have your suspicions, much like you do with players like iBoy. Jackie Love is a great example as to how they're going to perform in playoffs. What do they look this time around? This time around, safe to say that, yeah.
Maybe about Asura, though. He's all, because remember, this is his first year for him. Didn't make it into the playoffs during the spring, so you'd believe this is his first playoffs. And the fact that he, has gone on to this stage and is still performing well, especially up against Uzi, is definitely something you applaud. But the problem now is they're all grouped up. How do you take this fight? They're trying to look for it.
SOFM in a great position here, not spotted out. Sends the old backward. Launches down onto Xiaohu, but he's out of it for now. Look at the flank here from Flandre. He's being caught out. RNG is a stack. They take the blast cone together, and he hasn't done the damage. Longxing at half health has to flush away. Flandre had the right idea, but RNG collapsed in.
That pesky blast cone. You tend to forget when that came into the game, and it really put a thorn right in towards Flandre, who was in a great position to go all in.
I mean, someone backs again here from LNG. RNG now get the push on this inner turret, Inhibitor turret actually coming up next. Dwan in a flanking position. flash burnt, only fake from Xiaohu.
This sucks for LNG. You don't have a Kali with ultimate. You need to try and hold the door.
Look at this once again. SOFM has been spotted out. Arctic Assault into Uzi, but this is not the damage. Lungxing re-engaging. Tuan too far forward. Chosen of the Storm. Not going to apply. Lungxing will die though as the Asura picks it up. RNG now don't have the man advantage.
How did they come out of that
what?
one with a kill?
Uzi deciding to go in to go out. Fen has to flash out. RNG still have the fight. The Root Caller again. Uzi is unstoppable as Caster jumps back in, but what is going on? This is chaos. Uzi walking up to SOFM. He has to ult just to get out of there. This is some messy League of Legends.
But this is the craziest thing that I'm seeing LNG doing. You just got to kill. Here comes a teleport, though.
Okay, it's
Flandre.
Flandre. Trouble Bubble's not going to land. He's looking for the execution. Ult comes through from Ming. The flag and drag doesn't connect. They're just trying to find him amidst the shroud. RNG trying to back away, but Flandre's looking.
He's coming, his ultimate's coming back on, but he gets Sleepy Trouble Bubbled.
Has to go golden with the Zhonya's Hourglass. That means LNG have to back away. Cloud is going to be the restitution.
That was crazy. He had ultimate focus on his own ultimate. Like, getting towards that point, he was trying to slow them down so they didn't go back to base, so he can find that assassination. Ends up, of course, being able to get that one pick on Longxing when they were in a position where they were losing their inhibitor turret. And they were essentially going to lose their inhibitor, but still, good play from LNG. They stopped them. They were hairs away from being able to get a team fight win and turning it on the Baron.
And even though Xiaohu was so far behind on this Zoe, I love that we get to this team fight setting in the mid game where he lands each and every trouble bubble. Each and every bubble has purpose, and this Zoe is now quite large.
Remember, we are so close to being able to see our a best of 5 go to its full 5 games.
Yeah.
It's either that or LNG's road has ended. And so you can see Flandre putting in his all.
Further to your point, remember, ladies and gentlemen, LNG and RNG both don't have the championship points. If they lose in this quarterfinal, they will not be going to Worlds. And RNG fighting like they mean it. Uzi pushing up the mid lane with 3 items, and now the QSS. The Baron's still sitting there waiting.
You might see RNG just move towards the Baron itself. I think they have ultimate vision over it. But it just comes down to not wanting to have the game be decided by a 50-50.
That's right. Inatara going to be sieged here while Uzi and Ming, out of all people, are just sitting between the waves.
Just trying to push them away from the forest itself. And let's see what happens here.
This is a deep, deep flank. He's going to be spotted out on the minion wave, though. But
Okay.
now trying to push out the mid, get that outer turret that LNG have been looking for the past 8 minutes.
Yeah, if they can finally get this turret, that would be great. It would be a step forward in being able to get vision in the
They're leaving
enemy
it.
blue side jungle. No, they got this. Okay. Yi with little faith.
Sorry, Raz.
You've seen too much crazy stuff happen in this series.
I just came through game 3, Raz. You know what that was like.
No one's just going to leave that turret right for the pick.
Well, I don't know.
Fair enough.
I'm a play-by-play. I don't do the stats on minion damage.
What? You should.
I should.
I don't.
Do you? If I asked you, what does a sorcerer minion do? Like what damage? What would you tell me?
That's telling me does some deeps.
If I said 38, is that right? Oh, hang on, pause. I want statisticians to come back to me a little bit later. Ming almost gets caught out there with the Black Shield. Ultimate goes through. That is a swing and a miss. That hit the Black Shield Morgana. And now LNG are an ult down from the Sejuani.
All right. Just focus on the mid lane wave here. RNG is stuck with Ming being that low in HP. You already see Kai'Sa working on the mid lane wave that RNG won't be able to come in to rescue. With how low they really are. Take a look at this.
I mean, this is scary because LNG on one side, RNG on the other. Lungxing spotted out here by Flandre. Trouble Bubble not going to land.
You have a decently long cooldown on Sleepy Trouble Bubble when it just gets thrown out like that. They could have found an opportunity in.
Lungxing's in,
Wow.
Xiaohu as well. There's the burn. The bear is dead. And now Flandre stuck in the middle. They're looking to root him down with the Ignite coming down as well. This could be it for RNG. They get the double whammy. Double kill for Xiaohu.
Now they have all their members ready. Xiaohu just wants to find the remaining members.
He might have gone too far. The flash is there. Asura may be too far. The binding doesn't connect. And LNG, this is what they have to hope for. That they've delayed RNG enough to go to the Baron instead.
Now they're trying to figure out what was the best play, and it seems like it's just go towards Baron, pick that one up, and then make your final run. SOFM sniffs this one out, though. The one fear they had all game long is in reality. If he can find his way into that pit.
The miracle needs to come through. Lungxing comes over. The ult goes down. They've found SOFM. The
There
trouble
we go.
bubbles there. Good zoning from Xiaohu and Lungxing. Does the kill come through? They don't need it. They've got the Baron buff. and RNG are one step closer to finishing off this best of 5.
This is when you take that big, deep breath. RNG didn't want to go for the end game because they've done that before, and it bit them.
Yes.
So here we are. Dawn taking a boatload of damage. Flandre, even though he played this as well as he could at the near end of it, gets slammed alongside FunFun. So we're back in this point of the game. LNG have another opportunity to pick a fight, and if they lose, that's it for them this year.
Lights out. Inhibitors exposed. Baron at the ready. Waves pushing against RNG for now, but topside pings going down while Uzi sets up the mid wave for the LNG to react.
The Colonel is slowly being swayed. 80% that he thinks that RNG is going to be able to pick this one up.
Which way are those thumbs facing, Raz?
All the way up. Nothing could stop him. It's fine.
Uzi's so confident right now. This is what I love from RNG's AD carries, that he knows he's fed. He's got the shield from the Morgana. Uzi has been activated since minute number 5. And RNG been playing around it ever since, looking to try and end the game with it.
All right, let's see what happens. The poke is a little ineffective now. I think Sejuani has gotten to the max HP point where now she can regen that up. But I don't think there's ever going to be a moment in which RNG is going to let the Sejuani breathe.
Yeah. Still poking down SOFM. RNG break the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor just like that. Inhibitor in the mid lane now under siege, and LNG don't want to fight here. They want to save it for the Nexus turrets.
All right, here we go. Stacking waves now. You got this mid lane, the top lane wave.
But what happens when you get poked out before you even get a chance to fight? Flandre gets low. They're going to lose the first Nexus turret. And RNG aren't going to slow down. The Glacial Princess locks on down onto Cast, but he catapults the backline. Look at Flandre coming in, trying to save the game. Onto Uzi, but he gets burned down. Asura will find a trade kill, but for RNG, they want to end it here. Uzi's firing away. They can't get near him as Asura dies to Lung Xing. RNG have it all set up for them, Raz, as FenFen runs for his life. RNG just need 1, 2... And FenFen is the last piece of the puzzle.
Let him go.
This is all they need. RNG have done it. They're not going to leave it to a crazy Nexus play. They're going to find FenFen. They're going to pull him back. And RNG are going to take this series after killing that Sejuani. No way for a comeback if everyone's dead. And RNG go to the semifinals to take on Top Esports.
It was unexpectedly tough. You know, it was a tough one in the final game. LNG was fighting back. It was largely Flandre that kept them in the series. But RNG nails it down 3-1. Great job from the team. They rallied, and a lot of the question marks that we had towards Longsing and the rest of the squad came through. Yeah, Flandre is feeling a little bit salty on that one. I feel you.
I love this. Well, hugs going all around for Flandre, and that's just the experience in the league. The respect RNG have for this man who essentially brought them to that game 4, who essentially challenged them in that third game. And that's what LNG felt like in this series. They were challenging each and every step of the way. And while it may have been 3-1, in my heart, I feel like it went to all 5.
It felt like that.
It did.
I know what you mean. And if you heard the interview or read the translation for it for Flandre in the last series, they didn't even expect to get it this far.
Yep.
By no means did they believe they would be able to take down Invictus Gaming. And they went up against RNG. You started to feel it, you know? They had a lot of faith in their individual players, not as if they were playing worse. They were trying to play against the tide. They're putting in as much as they could. It was RNG that ultimately came in with that veteran championship experience and that nailed the door shut.
Where once again, Ming on Morgana. 100% win rate in that series, by the way, so Ming looked great. I will say that in that game, I felt that LNG were so close to getting us to a game 5. It felt like that one fight could have gone their way.
Yeah, I think a lot of it came down to their counterplay towards the Akali. If you look straight down their composition, there were so many ways for them to at least snipe Akali while she's shrouded. Number 1 was the Zoe. Of course, send down the Sleepy Trouble Bubble Q, whatever you want, in the general direction where you last saw her. And then another one is the, actually surprisingly enough, the Xayah.
Right.
Because the Feather Dance, a lot of the things that can end out protecting her and then, of course, putting in a lot of damage towards the squishy Akali later on. And then the easiest response has been the Aatrox.
Yes.
So you saw at the very end of it, he was playing well to keep himself in the Shroud. The problem was that he was in a 1v5 situation where they could put their full focus on towards killing him. And so great fight overall, great play coming in from LNG. It's sad that the hype train ends this early.
Yeah.
But at least you now know that you're getting a 100% ready, primed RNG going into the semifinals.
With a top laner that I think performed above expectations in that series and performed with the rest of RNG.
100%. I think that, Long Sing provided what we were expecting coming in from Sunny.
Yeah.
He was a player that was a carry. He was a carry top laner at the time. Even when resources were going straight through mid or bot lane, he was able to, take the advantages he had top side and was still able to come in through team fights in a great regard. I think that he was a very strong top lane that kind of lost that groove in the beginning of Summer Split. But now we finally get to see how he's gelling with the team, and I hope we get to see that for more games to come.
Also add there was a bit of pressure towards the top side where Flandre got forced out of lane at one point, but Flandre still dominated that lane and 40-50 CS up by the end of the game. But for Lungxing, that's good news. Cast is still playing at his limit. I'm working my way down through here because Xiaohu, for me, still played a great series, but it was the first couple of Karma games where I'm like, I want to see more.
That's because he was look, I feel bad for him. He played his heart out throughout the season. He goes into this series where Karma is available, and there's nothing that will stop him from picking Karma. It just makes sense. It's a strong champion, works with the comp, and they sent multiple people at him. So that'll just happen sometimes, and much like when SKT in the early seasons go to international events and goes up against wildcard regions. They send just 5 people at him, and you're like, well, that happened. I died.
Yeah.
The conversation better not be, oh, I was performing poorly. Oh!
No.
They sent the entire army to get me.
They were bullying him.
Yeah, they bullied him. And that's not acceptable here on the Rift.
At least we got to see the Zoe in the end as well, which in the mid to late game, that was fantastic.
Yep.
I said I was working my way down over to Uzi and Ming. This was their series. And if anyone in RNG, I'd look at Uzi and Ming and say, performed fantastic.
Yeah, because a lot of us will remember why they have such low points to begin with. They went up against JDG and flatly didn't have a good series going up against Imp and Lumao. Imp and Lumao during the entire split at the time were just poor performers, worst performers in the league.
Yep.
Just flatly put. Even the bottom tier teams had their Puff and Southwinds and Killua and Zhang Wuji, but at the time, JDG's bottom lane wasn't performing well. But they go into the playoff series and they went mad, not only going up against Team WE, but against RNG, a team known for their bottom lane. So a lot of it came down to RNG losing the 2v2 and then calling in multiple members in 4v5s and 5v5s like we kind of saw during the series where we saw 8 people in the bottom lane. And their execution was poor in Spring Split. But now you fast forward to the Summer Split and we're clean. I think it's really working out well for RNG. Uzi and Ming are getting their leads. They're performing incredibly well in the laning phase. And now if you're looking on to the next series ahead, Top Esports.
Right.
Suddenly I'm scared for Top.
So Top versus RNG. Now, of course, for anyone who doesn't know, LNG are out of playoff contention for Worlds, at the very least, or at least Gauntlet contention, I should say. For RNG, they want bare minimum 3rd with small conditions here or there, but they need to make a big run. Top Esports should be scared, but also I think that's going to be a great series.
It'll be a good series. I think RNG can still find themselves in 4th place because that'll at least give them 70 points. That's what we're running on.
That's true.
So they're going to still be okay in that worst case scenario, but you always want to give yourself as much power as possible.
That's right.
Especially when they're looking this good. Just go for the whole damn chip, right? Get the damn chip. So RNG is going to be okay. It's more so the conversation now of them going up against Top Esports, where Top Esports are looking, they're not looking bad, but if we're having a comparison of like veteran teams going in there that they can get the job done, they're completely lacking in that. Now, Ben is a great support with a whole boatload of experience, world semifinalist experience.
Sure.
But the issue is more so when you get to that moment during spring playoffs, during Rift Rivals, it's mostly an XX and 369 that tend to fail in those moments. And I want to be able to see if they can do more than just rely on Knight. The MVP of the split, the runner-up MVP of Spring Split, the best mechanical player right now in the world, I'll say. but you can't just rely that he's going to be your only performer. So I want to see what ends up happening in that one. That's going to be a competitive one where Top's going to be looking top side.
Yep.
RNG is going to be looking bot side.
And Xiaohu versus Knight in the mid lane.
That's true.
That's great. It's exciting.
That's true. That's going to be good.
Especially when in this series we didn't get to see the Xiaohu Akali, which I've been hyping up the past couple of weeks. So that's exciting when you have the merit of the two mid laners and both play Zoe as well.
Yeah.
Both have great Zoes, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the mid lane matchup is going to be so sick that's only going to be marred by team strategy. So the entire strategy for Top Esports is support your solo laners, and if it's not your top lane, definitely support Knight. So Knight's going to be fine. He's going to play whatever he wants. He probably just saw, Faker pick up the Echo play versus
Didn't he play
Talia.
Kassadin as well? In game
And he
two?
played a few. Then he was able to, he said, okay, I can bring this back then. I'm cool. But Xiaohu is like, can I play LeBlanc? He's like, you're playing Karma. Karma's available. Don't you want to play Karma? He's like, I guess I'm playing Karma. So team strategy is certainly going to be a hindrance to that one, but I agree. You have all LPL players going up against each other, MVP players going up against each other, and I think that the major question in all our minds is simply our top lane. We got an answer towards Longsing. Longsing's fine. Now it's more of an answer towards 369, who is an incredible rookie talent that needs to get that respect,
Yeah.
and hopefully he delivers it in the next round.
I mean, Longxing versus 369 is exciting. However, we've got to look back at this series. You know who gets MVP again? It's going to be Uzi this time. Again. But I will say, that man was walking forward no matter what.
Yeah. I actually don't remember. This game, this series was actually just so much
Yeah.
that I don't even have an opinion on who would be able to get MVP. I'm kind of looking at it right now, and I think Uzi is the right MVP for this game. So, good stuff. He walked forward, as you mentioned. He had the support there from Xiaohu and Karsa. This was the four-man bot lane we were talking about. Karsa had a really good game here as well. In fact,
There you go.
he
You're
had
remembering.
a lot of great cataclysm
Yeah,
this
there
game.
we go. Right.
Wait a minute. He had like multiple 4 to 5 people cataclysms.
He had some great moments. You're right.
This
Karsa.
highlight play is turning into a J4 highlight
Well,
play.
hang on. Let's see where it goes from here.
Well, look at this one. But I'm a little skeptical now.
That
This
was
one is a good
Xiaohu.
one from Xiaohu. We'll take that. We take those. That's all right. This one better not be a J4 highlight reel. Because I'm telling you, at this late at night, my mind is an enigma. This is a pretty damn good cataclysm. I'll still give it to him, but I'm just saying that was a good game from Karsa.
I love how every time we just look at like it's someone else. But of course, Uzi,
He earned this one. He definitely
3
earned it. which-
MVPs
Yes.
in that series.
Good stuff.
So it did very well. I mean, Ming had a great series as well.
Yes, he
But
did.
from here, I'm like, you're right. Going into Top Esports, going up the bracket, now I'm starting to believe a little more in RNG and think that, okay, if they can triumph over Top Esports and then they get in the finals, you go, this is a pretty sick RNG that's pretty much secured themselves at Worlds at that point.
Yeah, that's true. I think that we're in a pretty damn good split when you're thinking about playoff potential, who's going to the finals.
Yep.
You're thinking FPX now going up against BLG. Pretty damn interesting on that end.
True.
First time for either organization to be able to hit a finals. And you're
we
looking
go.
down the barrel at Top Esports and RNG. These are your final 4 teams in the playoffs.
Okay.
And it's really good.
4 impressive teams.
Now, as you can see, semifinal is going to be happening in August 31st
Yep.
and September 1st.
So Saturday and Sunday, day after each other, is when we return for our semifinals.
Now, whenever you go straight through these gauntlet, 4 days back to back to back, and if you're with these teams and you're going, one every other day, you get to play. It's very difficult to formulate those strategies. But FPX and Top Esports been sitting on that throne in the semifinals, watching the teams play,
Yep.
organizing themselves, while RNG and BLG thankfully will be able to sit down for about a week and kind of go through that themselves. There are not going to be too many teams scrimming, actually. Whenever you get to this state, then you're certainly EDG, Suning, LNG, we're gone, right? We're
Yeah.
not playing no more. Invictus Gaming
time
would
for
be
a
the only
holiday.
team that they're probably going to be focusing more so on the Gauntlet tournament. And the LSPL still LDL, that is still going through. So we're just talking about valuable practice. It's going to be a little hard. So
Yep.
good luck to them, but it's nice to be able to see that our Final Four has definitely been very strong teams, and where the Final Four during the regular season.
That's right. So it makes sense. The standings weren't for nothing.
None of you crazy people trying to make a run for it. We saw last time JDG 8th seed. Don't care. I'm running.
Chaos.
I'm
yeah.
booking it. This time around, EDG were trying. LNG out of nowhere. But thankfully, there's order.
I thought LNG were going to be the dream, but
Yeah, I thought so
apparently not.
Everyone else did too. Remember, this is the same thing in 2016. Everyone was like, oh, LNG took down IG in crazy fashion. They can do this. Anything is possible. That's literally the LNG, phrase, their motto that they have in the banners in Chongqing. And then the next series is a sad one.
And then they got the quarterfinal curse once
It
again. So
happens.
LNG tried to make the run. RNG stopped them. We now have a semi-finalist, so that's going to be it for us today. We'll be back on Saturday and Sunday for our semi-finals of FPX versus BLG, and then into RNG Top Esports. Thank you to Raz. Thank you to our production team. Bye for now, but not forever.
I'm hungry.